This episode of Marijuana Today is brought to you by CardMax Payments, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. If you have a legal marijuana dispensary, head shop, vape shop, or online CBD or hemp store, then you need to get in touch with CardMax Payments to see how they can help you collect and process digital payments. Say goodbye to dealing with mountains of cash. CardMax Payments is good at helping industries like ours do business better. Hook up your legal cannabis business with the pros over at CardMax Payments by opening up cardmaxpayments.com. They can quickly give you a quote on what it would look like to work with them to process your shop's financial transactions. Don't delay one more day. Say goodbye to dealing with all cash and say hello to cardmaxpayments.com. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, March 20th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 450 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story today is the news that President Donald Trump really was serious about wanting to murder drug dealers, as yesterday he unveiled a terribly conceived plan to battle the nation's opioid epidemic that includes calls for applying the death penalty to high-level drug dealers. Trump's plan pulls out all the best and most ineffective drug warrior tools, including tougher penalties across the board for drug crimes, as well as a boost in the production of anti-drug propaganda, because that worked when we tried it in the 80s. And in case you missed my sarcasm, it most certainly did not. President Trump, whose dumpster fire of an administration continues to fall apart by the day, has expressed admiration a number of times in the past for murderous dictatorial regimes like the Philippines, so yesterday's call for the same was pretty much expected. Bruce Barcott over at Leafly has a good write-up on this one. Pop over for the full read. Yesterday, news broke of a joint venture between California-based MedMen and Canadian firm the Cronos Group, which recently landed a coveted spot on the NASDAQ as that index's first all-marijuana stock. The joint venture, called MedMen Canada, will see the launch of a number of dispensaries that will be supplied by the Cronos Group's large production facilities. This is a big deal because both MedMen and the Cronos Group are fairly large corporations that are experienced and well-positioned in their respective verticals. MedMen has made headlines in recent months for their move to become a publicly listed company on Canadian markets. This is another good one to read in full. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Our final top story of the day keeps us up in Canada, where yesterday Health Canada released a set of proposed regulations governing how legal cannabis products will be labeled in the adult use market, set to roll out later this year. The restrictive measures call for plain packaging of cannabis products with a bright yellow accompanying warning logo similar to those found on cigarettes. At the same time, Health Canada shared details for two new license types to be given to small-scale farmers and processors. The micro-cultivator license will allow craft farmers the right to grow up to 200 square meters of canopy space, which Health Canada helpfully displayed as half the space between the blue lines on a hockey rink. I want to know what that translates to buckets of maple syrup sap. The Canadian federal government is currently deliberating on the final rules and regulations for legal adult use, so we'll continue to keep an eye on things. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, CardMax Payments, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. CardMax Payments has an extensive network of payment processing partners, so they're able to find working solutions for just about any legal marijuana dispensary, head shop, vape shop, or online CBD or hemp store. They understand the unique challenges faced by the legal marijuana industry and are dedicated to helping you shrug off the tyranny of having to do all of your business in cash. By moving more of your payment processing to the digital realm, you'll be saving yourself a lot of work in dealing with physical money and benefit from the increased transparency that comes with more trackable transactions. Swing over to cardmaxpayments.com to learn more and to get a free quote on what it would look like to work with them to handle your financial transactions. That's cardmaxpayments.com. All right, time for the blitz. A newly proposed bill in Connecticut's General Assembly would, if passed, legalize adult use marijuana and install a commercial sales system while also allowing for the opening of cannabis consumption lounges. In testimony given yesterday by Senate President Pro Temp Martin Looney, the senator said that the legislation would require the state to adopt policies encouraging participation within the industry by people who have historically been most negatively impacted by the war on marijuana. Connecticut is under increased pressure to liberalize their marijuana policies thanks to the fact that neighboring Massachusetts is in the process of implementing a fully legal adult use system. This is another one we'll be keeping an eye on. Licensed Canadian medical marijuana producer MedReleaf just announced a new deal with German company Cannabis Pharma to supply medical cannabis to the German market. Germany's medical marijuana program was launched just last year and has the benefit of insurance coverage for the 88% of Germans covered under the National Healthcare Plan. Cannabis Pharma's distribution chain now counts 1,800 pharmacies total within Germany. Tom Angel over Marijuana Moment has a good story up about a bit of marijuana gridlock currently jamming up New York State's budget negotiation process. The question has to do with funding a study to take a look at legalizing adult use, which is supported by the state's General Assembly, but opposed by the state Senate. The question of the funding's inclusion in the fiscal year 2019 budget will be hammered out in the coming weeks and months between Governor Andrew Cuomo and leaders from the state Senate and Assembly. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week shows the growth in the number of registered medical marijuana patients in Hawaii's system. This week's chart plots the total number of registered patients, which has grown to over 20,000 from 15,000 in January of 2017, as well as the percentage growth over the previous month, which has bounced around between a 0.5% and 4%. As they always do, Marijuana Business Daily provides some nice context to their chart, so this is another one I'd open up in full. In Georgia, Republican State Representative David Clark held a press conference yesterday in which he castigated Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle for holding up a proposed bill to expand the state's medical marijuana system with a request to study the issue in more depth. During the press conference, Representative Clark said, quote, "This is what, our third study committee? I think we have enough evidence from the states that have passed this to know that it's helping people," unquote. We'll definitely be watching this storyline closely. The Providence Journal has a good piece up about Rhode Island's evolving medical marijuana program, which has, in recent years, cracked down on smaller cultivators by shifting licensed cultivation to larger operators. Currently, the state has just 3 licensed dispensaries, which is far too few, even for a state as small in size as Rhode Island. Plans for boosting that number to 15 have been put forth by Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo, but that increase still needs to make its way through the state legislature. Rhode Island shares the pressures felt by Connecticut in the soon-to-launch Massachusetts adult use market, so this storyline should continue to stay interesting. And finally for today, the Maryland State Senate just voted in favor of a proposed bill that would decriminalize the possession of up to an ounce of marijuana while tightening up penalties for people caught consuming cannabis inside of a car, even in the passenger seat. The bill now heads to the state's General Assembly for deliberation there. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, CardMax Payments, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says, Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with Marijuana Today.
One take, Shay. One take.